All right, welcome back to another episode. I am AS Gaming, and welcome to the channel. This is it. This is going to be a good one today. This is going to be a really good one today. Here's Bob, and we are going to go on a trip across the city of Mistwood. I've done some things. I got to show you some things. There's up on the hill. I got some things we're going to do today. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun. We're going to take a trip, and I'm going to show you all the kind of stuff that we've been working on lately. I've got new music that you'll hear in this episode when I'll talk about that. Whoa! And the story behind it. And then we'll end with the future and talk about what's coming up next for the channel, and what the dilly is. See what's going to happen next. But the big exciting thing for today is that we are going to talk about, that'll be appropriate. We're going to talk about the trailer. We're going to be talking about the Monday trailers, which I call A days, and the Thursday trailer or developer talk, which comes out on Thursday. So you have A and B. This week was 3A, and then obviously tomorrow when you're watching this will be 3B, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But for now, let's take a little trip, and then we're going to look at the trailer here in a second. I'm going to take you over to what's going on in terms of, should we do this first person? Nah, we should give ourselves a little bit of... I've been working on some stuff lately, and I'm not going to be able to go through there. Whee! Okay, well that's terrible. I'm just going to go through the old woods. I hope no planes land on me. I'll go on the outside. Ooh! Took out that thing. So anyway, we got a big old trailer coming tomorrow. It's getting exciting. I'm really enjoying, obviously you are too, the excitement. I like the way that they have put this out. There's a lot of excitement. They're kind of walking us through it. It's good. It's a lot of the same game, which is kind of expected. It is City Skylines 2. The same game, same mechanics. Everything is very much the same, but a little bit different in parts. So, excuse me. So we'll go through the trailer, talk about some parts, talk about some things, exactly what's going on. I wish I could drive a little faster, but, what if you could drive like this in, real life? Oh boy, oh no, lose control of the car. This is not easy, driving these cars. Their mechanics, I hope they have this in the next game, because this is fun. It is. Oh no! It is fun, that's for sure. I hope. It amazes me that there are so many people who message me about, is that a mod? And what is this? I'm surprised more people don't play this on PC this way. Because, come to think of it, I'm not sure I've ever seen this is it. Okay, people, so check this out. I have redone this entire thing. If you remember before, there was a little circle here, and this was one 4-lane road that went up through here to another circle that connected over to here and there. That was just not working. The tunnel was getting completely backed up. This city was starting to get backed up. This was always backed up, actually all the way into the city, and then actually went all the way back into here, if you remember. We fixed all of that. It's now flawless. It runs much smoother because there's such a high volume of people trying to get off of this highway and then go through this neighborhood to get to this system. So now it's just easier for them to do that. This is all the same, but I did change the bridge. It used to come in this way a little bit differently. But yeah, I changed this all around. These guys are going into the mountain, which leads underground into that. There's a big unit that goes under this whole system. That's a big square. with little wings off to the top. There's a wing down there, there's a wing down there, there's a wing up here, and there's a wing in there if you can see it. But nonetheless, I brought that system into this highway, which runs underground, and as well as into the city. So it's a whole lot easier. It works, it's nice. I took a long time to be able to do this, but and get the grades right, and it was a nightmare, but it works. I'm glad this backs up, but that's okay. It's supposed to. These people, you know, and I built this little rest stop here so people can, you know, chill out before they go, because this is very typical. As soon as you go through a toll gate, they have some kind of rest stop afterwards. I was like, all right, so I decorated it up. So that was that. That's the biggest thing that I've been working on. The last episode you saw was the amusement park, which actually turned out pretty all right. It works. I like how it's compact. It's got its 2 piers on it. Oh, I can call it 2 piers. And then we've got the Opera House, which worked out very nicely. I think this whole area looks really good. I detailed this area up. It all looks good. Everything is good. I hope you guys like it. I think, yeah, I went through this neighborhood, completely decked this out. I mean, I went big time in terms of what I wanted to do. Made like paths and made it very nice back in here, so you could, wow, there's a big hill, right? Woohoo. Okay, so yeah, yeah, went all out, made this so it's really nice, put a subway system back in, everything works great. This neighborhood looks wonderful. Everything is working out just the way I want it. I also took this area over here, really started detailing underneath the bridge and making sure that it looks good. Came to this, I actually built this out a little bit more, try to get my numbers up a little bit more so I can make some more money, because I was kind of, I'm pushing it. So that's really where I've been working a lot. Is I was working on making this area functional. I like this little neighborhood kind of feel right here. I would like to extend that down into that area. I've got some plans. I'll come back to this area at the end of the video and we'll talk about what the future is, because I have one big project and we'll talk about it and you'll see. I'd love to hear your comments, but we'll wait to the end of the episode after we go through these trailers. Again, my 2 cents doesn't mean anything. It literally is 2 cents. So don't fry me. It's all good. I focus on, as you can see, the details, the functionality of the game and all that other stuff. That may grow on me in the future. It's not why I play City Skylines. I play City Skylines because it's fun. I love the graphics. I love the idea of, like, if I could know who this house belongs to and somehow, I don't know, pull me into this space. This is my yard. Like, I would own this spot. And I would really get to know that area and build out from there and start to understand the landscape. That's how I would want to play City Skylines. That tree is a special tree because it should be, you know what I mean? Like, I could put a rope swing on there and that would be where this person grows up. And that's where you're talking about, like, okay, there's 5 people that live in a house, and okay, if you're going to get that granulated, then make a reason for those numbers. There's got to be a reason behind those numbers rather than just tracking numbers. That's not, again, that's not the game that I want to play. I am into the details. So anyway, without further ado, enough me rambling about what I've been doing in this wonderful city. Let's get to the trailers. Just to reiterate, I slowed this down and made this into my own cut, so this is completely different, but this is a mismatch of everything that is just gameplay. Always remembering that this is 220's build. Oh, and if you look right in the center, log into your Paradox account and receive Medieval Castle for free. Sweet. But everything here looks the same. Everything, it's the same. The new maps look great. 10, 11, 12 of them. Really cool. So mostly have water access. You see mountains, some terrain in there that looks really interesting. San Francisco, River Delta, Windy Fjords. Yeah, there's some really good maps here. The Mountain Village, that one looks really interesting to me. I will definitely be doing that one. This one was a challenge for me, this Mistwood. That's what I want, is a good challenge. So, but this is very much like the beginning of the old game. This is how it starts. Same thing here. You have the same selections. This is just the beginning of the game, which is really cool to kind of let us know, hey, this is the beginning of it all. Here we go. And yes, the mods for console is interesting. It'll be interesting to see how we can utilize all of that. So here it is. I've taken all of the really wide-angled views and clumped them all together, and that's what we're looking at first, which is the overview of $2.20, his build. If you look all the way in the right-hand top, you can see the sludge coming into the ocean, or the water there. But his build, and then he released this build. He could finally talk to us about it maybe a month or two ago, and he had been working on this build for months. So let's just say the beginning of the year-ish. So what we're looking at is the beginning of 2023 on his build. So keeping that in mind, and how this is just the beta build, and once they release in October, 10 months of development, and especially listening to what our feedback is to what's going on. So yeah, these are all the overshots, and this is good. You see all the different, I like the soccer fields. I see the track. Finally we have a proper track, which is nice. Hopefully we can get smaller ones for like high schools and stuff like that. That would be nice. I would, as you can see in Mistwood, there's tracks to high schools. That's something that's very common and something we don't have. Obviously we have some kind of ornamental. It's all very much the same. Water looks better. It's still very gridded. I can see grid lines in water, but it's a whole lot better. The game should behave easier for us to manipulate the things that we do. Like for me, building the highway system that I just took forever to build, it should be a lot quicker, which is nice. Again, we see the sludge running into the sea above, but overall it looks good. But again, as I said in multiple videos, because I have these side by side on monitors, this looks really nice, but it's not blowing me away, especially when I have City Skylines 1 right next to it, and it's also very good. But the main thing, and I've said this over and over again, probably a little bit too much, but I just drives the just ever loving, just, oh man, it drives me nuts that there's no grass. City Skylines doesn't have any natural grass at all. It's just one flat green looking thing. And then the trees plopped in the middle of it looks really fake. I would love to have ploppable tiles that are textures. That would be just wonderful, like desert texture and like different kinds of densities of grass, high grass, low grass. Just so the land itself, they've put so much realism into this game, and yet there's this one glaring thing to me that there's no freaking lawn, there's no grass, there's no texture to the ground. It's very odd. I just don't get it. I don't get it. There's so much realism put into this game, and yet there's this one glaring thing that's like, look at every single bit of ground is manicured perfectly, and that just doesn't exist. I wish this game had dirt and grime and a lived-in feeling. Everything feels very plastic and new, and I wish it had that level of dirt that you kind of get. I mean, we have elements now in rain. Hopefully that rain sits in the middle of a road that's wet. That would be nice, but like they teased in trailer 1. Don't know if it's going to exist, but one can hope. And again, we're seeing the different info views off to the side, on the left, and then at the bottom, but I am purely going after looks. And again, I think it looks good. This is just a beta build. I think what we're gonna see, and I'm not sure if we've seen anything current or not. I don't know if they've flashed it here and there, or if this is all, let's just say January, February 2023. So 5 months ago, 6 months ago. So yeah, the night looks really good. I like the dense fog. That was one thing I was watching a really fast, I put something in fast forward, and I was above the sky, and I just kind of recorded it and put in fast forward, and you can actually see the wind direction change and go through the valleys and mountains in City Skylines 1. You can actually see it happen if you fast forward it. But the one thing is that look at the elevation we are right now, and it's perfectly clear. Whereas if you were in an airplane that high at all, it would be cloud covered. You wouldn't be able to see. You would have to be much lower to the ground to be able to see this clear. Again, realism. I know. Oh, I took this scene and reversed it just so you could see the city building in rather than taking it away, because that was a very strange statement. I guess I have to remember that there are new players coming to the game and saying things like, you have to start with a brand, you don't get anything in the beginning, you have to build it up. And to me, I'm like, well, why are you telling us that? We already know that. But you always have to remember there are new players coming into the game who have never done this at all. And I guess that's why they're reiterating some of the basics that we already know. Makes sense. Some of these buildings look rather interesting. Obviously, some of them are going to be highlight buildings, but yeah, there is that sameness that happens. There's a lot of repeating that still happens. Hopefully, they can work on a little bit of that. There is a lot of the same kind of models that I'm still seeing. Yeah, the billboards is less. That's good. It's always a benefit to see less of the same thing happening. But yeah, 220's build is beautiful. It's a really good representation. I don't know how many months it actually took them to build this, but it's a really good representation of what you can do, especially highway-wise and the intricacies of things. Just the loops and the symmetry, you know that this was done in-game, so it's easy to do things. It's easy to create a grid. You're not spending as much time on the little pain in the butt things that happen in CS1, but at the same time, that's what makes CS1, is trying to figure all that stuff out. And that's what, that's part of the game, is if something is flawed, part of the game is trying to overcome that flaw. That's gaming. Yeah, all this looks really good. All this looks cool. Yes, airports are actually sizable now. They're a good representation of how a real airport kind of is. Actually, they're probably a little bit bigger, but okay. And we've got the different cities. So we have the different, and they go through highlighting this, like the one that's on the bottom of the screen. And so are we trading between those cities, or are we trading between outside cities? That's not really I'm not clear on that. Like, do they consider these, like what we see in front of us, 4 different cities? Or maybe a 5th one in the back there I saw. But, yeah. I've got a couple shots here that really excite me in terms of me, rural Skylines, and how I approach the game. They're a little too compact still for me, but at least I can hopefully work with it. This is all city-based. That kind of drives me nuts. I really, 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 really want to think about the detail. Like, look at that bank. I want to be able to do something with that bank. I want to be able to properly make this. This shot is pretty cool. I like the way this looks. The lighting, it just looks nice. This is something that I could definitely work with. The housing, though, is, I don't know. It's a little, it's good, but it could be better. Like, let's think about rural Skylines. For me, that's way too compact. And then you're going to put a house like that out in the middle of a big yard, and you've got this fenced-in yard that looks weird because it's supposed to, quote-unquote, supposed to be part of a model where you put all of your houses in a one neighborhood compact next to each other, which that may work for some parts, but there's a lot of other parts that will not work. Putting houses as close as you can in a small area, that's not how it always works. Yes, sometimes it does, but not always. I would like to have the option of making rural parts of your city. At least water levels a little bit more manageable. I hope. I haven't seen any streams or anything like that. No waterfalls. So water mechanics, I don't know. In the console version, we never even got the ability to play with water. That was something that you had to create yourself by pumping water out of I forget, and then creating a pond, and then so buildings look good, repeating buildings, and there's definitely an attempt to be able to see inside and make it a little more realistic looking. So when you like looking into a building, it looks as though the building has depth. It's still not real though, but it's hard to tell because what we're seeing here, and then when there's scenes like later on, there's a bus, and you can see the reflection off of the bus, and you can see that they've done a phenomenal job. Is that the same build? Are we looking at 220's build when they do that? I don't know. So the farming obviously is going to be a lot better because now you don't have the blocks that you have to usually work with. We have an actual expandable model where we can play with it. I don't know that I like the fence around it all the time. I don't know. Like, farm fields where I'm from don't look like that. There's not a complete fence that encloses all of your crops. Crops are out in the middle of a field usually, and that's like, if you could choose the different kind of fence that could go around that crop field, that would be better. It almost looks like there's a picket, like a post fence around it. I guess that is a post fence. It just looks like a solid. No, see, then I get to the bottom of the screen, and it looks like it's a solid. Like, it's hard to tell. But again, realism. I know I'm being picky. I get it. It's a game that I'm wishing for. We all want to wish for stuff that we want, of course. I want the game. You know what I really want is I want the game in Trailer 1, which is not going to happen, but that's the game that I want to play. That game looked phenomenal. Yeah, this is good. This is good. you know, the new ships and everything that they talk about. Yeah, ships are going to be very cool. Then none of that stuff really, again, I'm really interested in the details of this game. A lot of the architecture looks the same. This is definitely a city. This right here is a living, breathing city, and that's great. But I don't focus on this stuff. To me, what makes a city is the city itself and the surrounding areas that support that city. That's really where this is all concrete to me. And for a city to be exciting, there would have to be more things to do in the city. Like you would have to have nightclubs and destinations within the city, museums, those types of things that make the city a destination and someplace fun to work with. Right now, it's just ploppable assets that really hold no value. And it's a bunch of concrete, and there's not a lot of places to kind of add your little individual touches. You can put a little park here and there, but yeah, that's a city. I mean, that's a city. Whereas you start to move outwards, then you get to, yes, your compact neighborhoods, cookie cutter, as they say, cookie cutter neighborhoods. And then you go beyond that, and then you start getting into the country, and you start getting into the way people live. And then you get to the way backwoods, and then you're like, okay, this is crazy. And then you should be able to get to the point where it's farm fields, and there's just nothingness. So yeah, utilizing all of those levels. But anyway, this is a great scene. This is great. At the very top, you have all of these people standing in the middle. I think it's great that they're showing all of the mistakes. Like there's nobody on motorcycles, and yeah, you have this car is going to plow right through all of these people, which is terrible. Yes, obviously they need to fix some things, and they will. Obviously, these are the things that they've been working on, and they have their big checklist, and developers do this. They get ready for going gold and whatnot like that. So, yeah, I like this because of the shadows. The shadows are looking pretty decent. They're a little bit better than what we see in City Skylines 1. I'm assuming that there's going to be a much better lighting system, hopefully. We'll see. Now we're starting to get down into the city. Now we're going to start getting into what makes this. See, to me, there's opportunity here to really make the city come alive. Look at that grass. This is what I'm talking about. Look at those trees, and underneath it, it just is grass, and it doesn't even know. No. But yeah, we're going to start getting into the city, and this is where I think they have an opportunity to at least to pull some of the ideas that they put in trailer 1, because trailer 1 wasn't just some hodgepodge, let's just throw something together that represents our game. No, trailer 1 was their vision in terms of what they want to come across, and that's important. To me, the first trailer showed more, a little more depth into the environment. That first scene when they rise up over that desert and you could see all the cacti and all the tumbleweed and it looked good. There was that gas station that everybody was talking about. It just looked good. Like there was like I say, there was a dirt and a grime. When you went into the city and you were following that police car or whatever it was, and there was puddles in the street, and there's garbage falling out of one of the trash cans onto the street, and there's cars parked onto the sidewalk and whatnot like that. That is a lived-in city. that's, you can see gum on the sidewalk, you know what I mean? There's parts of like the sidewalk that are crumbled and whatnot like that they look like they're lived in. There's dirt and there's grime and it'd be nice if there was a homeless section where, yeah, you have parts of the city that are quote unquote so slum-like and not good places to go because the crime rate is bad. And then there are good places of the city to go to. And again, a working, breathing city, but on a different level. Here we see an animation for construction. Hopefully that's a placeholder. It's still really freaking quick. I'm of the mindset that building should take time and you should have to go get supplies to build this stuff. Like you don't build a house in literally 2 seconds. That doesn't happen. Again, realism. I know I'm going realistic, and I mean you don't have to go that bad, but at least take in game time. At least take I would like a month to build a house. An actual skyscraper, make that take like 4 months to build. This is interesting. I kind of want to zoom in on some of these new buildings so we can kind of get a better idea of what we're looking at. That's an interesting building with a parking lot off to the side. And this building off on the right here, this is what they showed us, but they actually showed us this building much earlier. This is the very first trailer, I believe, on the left-hand side. I can't remember what part of it is, but they pulled us up over the city looking at that pool. I recognize that pool. Yeah, this is a pretty cool shot going straight down the street. The other thing is that I can't remember which person pointed this out, but I think it was City Planner Plays said, looks like there's a lot of cars, but there really isn't. There's hardly any cars on the road. Now, obviously, this is beta. I keep on saying that over and over again, but yeah, there's no cars on the road. But there's a few. There definitely are a few, but most of them are parked. And if you look out throughout the game, there's hardly any cars on the road. But I thought we already looked at this. Maybe this is a different angle. But yeah, details. There's a couple of scenes. More buildings like that. I know this is a rare building, but I don't know where. Those to me look like student apartments. A little bit different, not a little bit upscale, obviously the fountain out front, but there's a lot of student housing that looks like that. Again, I like this lighting. But look at the grass. I know, I go on it way too much. That split up at the top was an interesting split transition from one road to the next. I do like how they have made road building a lot easier. One thing I am looking for, though, is, as you can see here, this shot especially, I love this shot. Look at that. That's very cool. But as I'm looking, I don't see many shots where houses are built onto hillsides. There's no elevation shots where you're seeing housing. And that concerns me because one of the biggest things about City Skylines 1 was the weird way that housing would be warped when you place something on a hill. I hope that's addressed here. I really do. It's just something that makes you build something and then that happens and then you have to recreate the whole thing again because of the mechanics behind it. But But this looks cool. This is really neat the way that this has been built. But again, all those defined borders between all of the houses. There's fences, which in a dense area just like this works. It looks really good. But let's just say that pink house in front of us right here, dead center. I would love to be able to take that and shift that over by 1 or 2. I would love to be able to kind of play with the houses. They are really like packed in there. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it works. It works. There are definitely a lot of places that live like this, and those flags, they're just sticking straight out. There's wind in the trees, but the flags are staying completely still. Yeah. And there's no people around the houses. Nobody's doing anything. There's no activity around the houses. They're just static houses. And all these houses have snowmen in their front yards, and it's the exact same snowman. And there's a lot of emphasis on not just the city. Here are neighborhoods that are packed, and you can see that we've got rows and rows of them. I can see way back there that there are houses on a hill, and it's that same like bank that happens, which hopefully we can kind of play with. They've tweaked the mechanics behind soil, hopefully, and how housing is affected by soil. There's a little bit of elevation here. As you can see, the top of each house kind of rises, so there's that. And yes, we do have the for sale sign, so that mechanic is going to be a little bit more interesting in CS2. There is definitely going to be more things to do in CS2 if you want to dive deep into the game. I love this lady who's just standing here. I think that's just great. But again, I mean, I would like to be able to spruce up the beginning, or spruce up because they're all the same house except for the one. I would like to be able to put a couple of those benches in there. With CS1, you can't add props to a square. You can't. It gives you that. It goes red and it says you can't do that. But I would like to be able to take a dumpster and put it right in front of that apartment, just because I want to be able to have the freedom to do things and not be told you can't do that. Okay. But so here we have the industrial areas and warehouses, and they look really good. The apartment buildings look good. The lighting is cool. Very much a part of what they were trying to go for in CS1. A lot of the same game is still here. It's, again, nothing really has changed. It is CS1 boosted. And I would love to see, like those stairs in front of us, I would love to see somebody going up those stairs right now, like a fire escape. That would be, or a cat on one of them. You know what I mean? Somebody's got plants out on one of them. Sure, lived in. Something that makes them a little bit more unique. Because this doesn't excite me. This doesn't excite me at all. There's nothing here that is like, okay, this is great. Cities and making a functional city right now is fairly easy. I don't know how much harder it's going to be in CS2, but like I said earlier, if you really want to pull me into city building and making a city thrive and be alive in a destination, then give me the ability to, if I could take part of that building right there and see all the commercial on the bottom, make a club, some kind of bar, a pub of some kind, make a shoe store out of one of them, a mom and pop drug store, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. A bank could go in there. There's a garage you can pull cars into. Sure, great. That'd be really freaking cool. I would love that. I would think that would be fun to be able to add life to these places, then this would be a destination. This would be a place that I've put work into, and then, yeah, then I would want for people to spend money in my city and come to my places that I've built and had fun building, and I could hire people and make that a mechanic of the game, and that person would then, you know, work at that place. Like, you have a restaurant in front of you, sweet. Well, let me be able to assign a job to whoever, and then I can follow that person back. If every person in this game, right, is real-ish and they have a destination, then I should be able to follow that person back to their house and know where they live. That would be phenomenal. That would be really, really cool. And then I could follow that person, and I could give that person an identity, and, you know, channels like me could actually make a story behind it. That would be fun. But maybe that's CS3. I don't know that they can get that far with this one. City Skylines 3, yes. The trailer starts off from, you know, first person point of view, and the guy's getting ready to go to work. That would be pretty amazing. But yes, like, this is a cool building. Some of the architecture is, yes, very good. And the way that some of this works is just really good. Again, the buildings look cool that they have light, but they're all static pictures. They're not real. At least as of yet, we're seeing a lot of the same kind of the same thing that happened in City Skylines 1. It's not real. You can look at a reflection in City Skylines 1 and know that if you're looking up, and you know that the reflection should be the sky, but yet when you look at any one of the windows, there's like buildings in the reflection. It's not a true reflection. And it looks like they're trying to do that here, but I don't understand. Again, I'm not sure I understand which build is this all $2.20? I think so. It must be. It's just a matter of how they're releasing some of the imagery. Like in trailer 1, we didn't see any of the city, I guess, or at least some of the iconic ones. So now we get into vehicles. I slowed all of these down. I've gone through this so many times. I've spent way too much time building all of this. But it does give me a chance to slow everything down and really soak in what is going on and how things work, how things move. There's a better view of the grass, and it looks like there's some texture, but it still looks real. Like, no. Wrong. But this is cool. I like the lane work. I like the model. See, what we're looking at here does not look like what $2.20 had. I want to say these are two different builds, but I don't know that, because it still says New Dollarton and it still says Megalopolis, so it has to be the same build. But the cars look so much better, but they look so plastic and so perfect. Again, I don't know where you are, but yeah, there's definitely nice cars, but most of them have dust and grime, and there's a lot of people who don't know how to drive and have dings and bings, and depending on what state you live in or what country you live in, there are certain laws that said you can have this much leeway on your car in terms of keeping it safe, and like here, you don't have to worry about your windshield being cracked. There are people, I've seen people driving around with cracked windshields. So it's yeah. Every car is perfect. It's beautiful to look at. I like that we have speed limits. Hopefully we can adjust those. These are really good scenes. Like, I love slowing these down and taking a look at all of the things that we're gonna have. But everything's a little too clean. There's no gravel, there's no dirt, there's no manholes, there's no vents for water to go down on the side of the streets. That was cool. You saw the light post move there. That's nice. And there's quite a few cars that are pulling trailers behind them I've seen so far. The road markings are good. Just things work so much better in terms of the lane mathematics. It's going to be a lot nicer to kind of work with that. There's still sharp, really sharp lane turning. I don't know why they can't make merging into lanes a little bit more fluent rather than this really herky-jerky movement from one lane to the next. So we have garbage trucks. I believe the next one is police cars, or is it ambulances? Police cars. So we're going to follow this police car around for quite some time. There's a nice little U-turn off to the right, which is cool. Yeah. It just looks so much, I don't know. I say that and then I think to myself, no, it doesn't. It looks better, but it doesn't look better. There's things that are definitely expected to be better because they've been working on this game for a long time, and of course you're going to have improvements. And yes, it's not a new game, so it's called City Skylines 2, so it's going to have almost the exact same mechanics and everything's going to work the same, but they're going to build onto it. So okay, what have they built onto it? Better road systems, and they've gone into the mechanics of taxes, and every citizen has a travel path, and City Skylines 2. Oh, it's Chirper Street. Look at that. Chirper Street. Sweet. That's funny. There you go. Oh, and now we go on to ambulances. So I've cut all of this footage. I went through all the footage, and probably what I will continue to do is go through all of the footage and cut them up so they are. So we're looking at a representation of look at right off to the right. Look, we have new motorcycle parking, which is really cool. It's the first time we've seen that, which is pretty neat. We have new motorcycle parking. The way that this ambulance pulls into this thing, it has got to be, everybody's kind of like, whoa, like what? That's a thing? Because that doesn't even look like a driveway. That's a little odd. And then you should have, there's no entrance there. I don't know. It is what it is, but some of this is just really I'm perplexed by the decision making that has gone into, and I can say that sitting here in my chair in my studio, and I'm not having any lick of time building the game. I just play it as a consumer, obviously, as you, and it's a love of something that I really cherish. I mean no disrespect to anybody at Colossal Order or Paradox or anything. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. And then, yes, you know, if you can do any better, you go right ahead and do it. No, you are doing perfect. I just am going to, because I'm allowed to, I'm just going to voice my concerns and voice my opinions because I love your game. I think it's a fun game, and if I could make it a little better with some suggestions, I would. It's such a beautiful game and such a unique game that it's just, I never thought of myself being a city builder, but City Skylines, look at the reflections, and they are true reflections. I don't know if you can see these cars going by in the reflection. I didn't see their car, so maybe that is a static reflection. Yeah. I don't know. There's a couple things that I would add. I would add ploppable tiles that you can add different textures. That's number one for me. Number two would be just to go over the whole art of the game and add a little bit of grime. Add a little bit of worked in feeling to it, scuffs and scrapes and cracks, and add that to it. Give it a little bit of wear and tear. That's number two. And number three, give me the ability to do something in the city and bring it to life. Like the scenario I spoke of earlier, where, you know, even starting the game, like when you start a new game, well, no, because you have to build it from scratch, but the first resident, or give your, I don't know how you would build it, but having the ability to follow any one of the residents to their place of business and giving them a job, and that whole process, which really pulls you into the game. Anything that can pull you into the game. When we zoomed into that house, and where I was talking about the tree, you know, that's ownership. That's part of the. I love this random deer in the middle of the sidewalk. I love it. Oh man. But yeah. The clouds look really good. Love the stars. I love the fact that in the mountains in the distance there are sometimes they are snow capped, which is really cool, to kind of give it that it's getting colder or we're coming out of winter kind of feel, which is great. We have yet to see fall. We have yet to really actually see winter and seasons and how weather actually is going to affect everything and anything. But it's coming in the coming weeks. We're definitely only seeing a snap, like a little clip of what they want us to see. See, watch how fast this guy changes lanes. Yeah. It's like you're gonna hit that car. Yeah. I think it was in the other trailer we got to see the cemetery. There's an actual a proper cemetery for once. Yeah. The lights didn't change. They just kind of stopped. And this whole wreck thing, that it's beta. So I can't be too picky about this, but the concept behind it. There's Chirper Lane again. The whole concept behind, okay, you have a wreck. Now they're going to clean this up, obviously. They're going to make the car flipped and the whatever pancake that it's in the back of the screen there. They're obviously going to make that a lot better, but the whole idea behind it. And notice how the one wall on the left and the one on the right are the same direction? Shouldn't you be able to flip that wall around? And doesn't this car actually go through this pole? If it does, it should hit that pole, and that pole should knock down, and that should be a consequence. But, yeah. I know. They're working on it. They're working on it. They're working on it. Now, is this I imagine this car is wiping out because of weather. So rain. And that's what I'm saying. Rain is no good. This guy has different cargo than he had on maybe a different scene. He's only got a couple cones. And there's a couple laying down in the back, which is kind of funny. There's a tree coming up through the concrete over there, which is great. I love how this guy dims his lights. Yeah, that's great. And then he passes them, and then he puts his lights back up. That's cool. If you're gonna put that level of detail into the freaking game, give me some grass. Like, oh my gosh, man, give me some grass. Oh my. So, yeah, another guy pulling the trailer. Water looks better. Beaches, I'm still not seeing anything. I would like to see actual sand. Some good sand, some yellow sand, some white sand. If you've ever been to Bermuda. Wow, that was a hard one. Bermuda, you've seen that they've got like a pink sand. Hawaii has a black sand. So different kinds of beaches. I would like to be able to play with the sand color. Right now, in City Skylines 1, at least for console, there is no beach. I mean, it just doesn't even look like a beach. There is a beach, it doesn't look like a beach. This car looks very toy-ish. I don't know that I like. And how he pulled into that right-hand lane is very odd. There's like this bobbly feel to the game, and I don't know that should be like that. But whatever. And they obviously haven't figured out plants yet because there's all these placeholders. Nice lane mathematics there. That's cool. I like how the transition is easy there. There's no crosswalk there, so they can't cross there, which is nice. Trash bags out front. Sweet. It's good. Now we're getting into parking lots. The different parking lots. There are, 2-3 parking lots that I've seen so far that are the same parking lot over and over again. Boy, would be nice to be able to, you know how we have the farmland and we have the ability to drag the corners and make any kind of parking lot we want? Boy, that would be really nice if we could do that with parking lots. To be able to take that, I hope it's not one of those situations where we're playing the game 6 months into it and go, why didn't they take the mechanic that is used for building farm and ore in the boundaries? Why didn't they just use that for building? Like, that parking lot is cool. I'm glad that there's a diagonal here. That's much better. Don't know that I like the fact that the motorcycles are taking up an entire parking space. We should see those parking spaces for motorcycles more in parking lots like these. Less motorcycles for sure, but there's a lot of smart cars. they look a little funny. Especially when they pull all the way up to the line. Yeah. But it's good. It's good. Better. It's better. I like it. I like it. 3 times in a row. A lot of the same vehicles here. You see the 2 red vans. You see all the smart cars looking exactly the same. So we've only seen a handful of models in terms of cars and vehicle variation. I'm pretty sure that's on purpose. There's going to be more variation for cars and motorcycles. We had the little personal movers before. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be more. I hope there's going to be more variety. I really do. So, stray dog. Is that a stray dog? Got the key wall in the background. Key wall to the left, no key wall to the right. Yeah, we've talked about pedestrian walkways. Again, the grass looks way too clean here. Trees still look a little... They look better. I'm trying to pull out, like... This guy runs the yellow light. But is there anything else that we can pull from this scene? Not really. There are crosswalk signs, like the illuminated "Don't Walk" signs, which are really interesting. Although the walks should be white, not yellow. Oh, this guy's backing up. He put his reverse lights on. And the traffic and the different kinds of traffic that we have. It's, yeah. Look at that grass. All these people standing on the corner. That one says "Don't Walk." Those are good. I mean, that's nice to have those. That's for sure. But the variety in the streets, there really isn't any. It's just a lot of the people. And that wreck that happened there, he literally just turned his car into the other one, making the wreck happen. I'm just not sure how wrecks and accidents are initiated, how the whole thing actually goes down. And like, if that's a wreck, what constitutes that as a wreck? It's a car that's sideways. Just go. Is there damage? Is there actual damage that we get to see? That would be nice. See a little bit of a glitch in the road by the rail crossing. But again, beta. So episode 3. Okay, so this is the last one. This is the one we got on Monday. We only have a couple more minutes here, and I'll jump into Mistwood. I do appreciate you coming along for the ride. This is pretty cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm freaking excited. I am ready for October to be here. I am ready for the release of this game. I think it's going to be fun to play. It's just going to be nice to have, because for so long it was, the big wish of, oh man, I wish they would make a City Skylines 2. And here it is. We can actually go through tunnels. Yay! Look at that shoreline. Like, it's screaming to be detailed. Like, what? It's just so perfect. It's just so freaking perfect. And that's the problem that I have. I know Biffa was talking about, like, look at the electricity posts and the detail that go on to how they built these. If you're gonna put that much detail in, hey guys, I have a suggestion. Like that scene right there with, oh, can you imagine like grasses and like weeds and just even if it was a manicured lawn where you could see the stripes in the lawn. Yeah. And I can't remember who it was, but said something about the graffiti needs to be on these. I mean, what? There is no freight that is that clean. That's what this game is missing. Is the grime and the yeah. I'm gonna say it over and over again, and I'll probably say it in the next video. You're probably gonna be like, "Shut up!" I can't shut up. I can't shut up about it. This is something that I really, truly am very passionate about. This game is absolutely wonderful. I wish it had those three things, though. The third, obviously, going that in depth and putting a person in their job and all that kind of stuff. That's not for this game. But at least the 1 and 2. At least those two things. That's. Give me some kind of ploppable terrain. And give me the grit and grime. Yeah. That's what would make all of this so much more enjoyable. And the detail work. I really hope we have a nice library. And I do mean a library. If you can see off to the left, there are houses going up in elevation, but we can't actually see their bases. I want to know if it stretches out the building. Because there are a couple glaring things in City Skylines 1 that I really hope that they've addressed. They've addressed the roads and the handling of roads and the building of roads and the ease of doing it and the headache that it is in City Skylines 1. That is something that they hopefully have addressed to the utmost. It seems as though they've done a really good job so far as displayed in trailer 1. Roads looks great. But again, until we actually get our hands on it, will we actually be able to say, yeah, this is good, but I don't know why they did that. Yeah. Here we have boats. Boats don't do anything. They transfer cargo, and you can take a ferry or I guess a cruise ship from one city to the next city, which I don't know of any places in the world where cruise ships just cruise around from city to city. They do that from country to country, and they go all over the world, but practicality, I guess I'm looking at now, huh? But they did do a good job with their models. Everything looks good. The developers who sat down and actually built these things out have put a lot of time into the details of making these things feel real, like they have some weight. There's that grid to the water. Yeah. Clouds look really good. Here's our cargo, which I do think this looks really good. Hopefully we actually see an animation of the cargo being picked up from the ships and then being put into the field. That would be nice. Yeah, those clouds just look great. They did a phenomenal job with those clouds. And the rain looks really good too, in terms of it just coming down and the way it glistens. Like they've done a really good job with that. Just hopefully the rain begins to actually pool. Like that would be a no-brainer, I would think. I'm hoping that it's not one of those situations where you get the actual game, you go, oh, they really didn't do pooling water. That's a very big disappointment. This is cool. This is their shipyards, and this is much better than CS1. A much better representation. Now, there would be a lot of people here. There would be actual workers. Hopefully they populate it appropriately with a place that is as big as that. There would be vehicles moving around, forklifts, all that kind of stuff. That it'd be a busy place. Same thing with an airport. It's a busy place. There's a lot going on in terms of what makes an airport. Again, this is the level of detail that I would love this game to have. Yes, I know your GPU would blow up and all that kind of stuff. I get that. We're getting better with games, and with with AI gonna start to I've seen some things lately that are like, where is gaming gonna go next? Because this is just mind-blowing. The speed and rate that we can create environments and on the fly, it is just I saw this one game. I won't get into it, but man, gaming is going to a whole new level. And if we're looking at that now, again, if I'm looking at City Skylines 3, it could be something really, really, really amazing. I don't know that we'll ever see a City Skylines 3. One can wish, can't they? I'm going to wish. How about you? I'm wishing, and I'm thinking that there's a lot of people on this plane right here, and they're gonna get off. Hopefully TSA doesn't have to show up because one irate passenger is being really idiotic and can't handle their selves on an airplane. Seems to be a lot of that going around lately for whatever reason. People can't, just ride on an airplane and get to their destination without causing some kind of scene because they need some kind of attention. Different modeled airplanes. Somebody said, I think it was City Planner Plays actually. I've seen a few different people's perspectives on the game. I try not to listen to too many, just because I want to formulate my own opinions. These parking lots all are the same. They're all the same. Every single parking lot is the same. This was interesting. What's with the... I didn't put any graphics, but what's with all the brown? And yet there's housing everywhere. I want to know what overlay that is. Yeah, I thought this was very interesting that we're doing a waypoint map and it's in brown. So yeah, this I also thought was interesting as well. They end with this and it doesn't seem like it's a real screenshot, but I think it is. They actually flip to it again later on and you can see this is what we're seeing is the airplane flight. So if you pull way, way, way out of the the map, I think you get a much different view of, you can have a different overlay of what we have in City Skylines 1. Episode 4, Zones and Buildings. And this is where it's going to end, obviously, because tomorrow, actually for today, for you guys, we get a new developer insights. So we'll be talking more about zones and signature buildings. Here we have, I'm just scanning across the picture that they gave us. So I don't know. This is not obviously 220's game build. This is their own supplied pictures. When was this taken? Same time frame? February? And how much has the game changed? Does the game that we're going to get have a little bit more of a polished feel, or is it literally this with just fixing all of the things that are wrong in terms of people with no, or motorcycles with no people on them? We don't see any bikes here yet. Like just taking care of all the little things, you know what I mean? Like there's placeholders for like planters. You can see this big tuft of white something that people are like, what is that? It's just a placeholder for a plant, or some kind of asset. So are they just cleaning all of those things up and working off of their list, or are we getting some other stuff? Was 220 not allowed to use certain things? Did they only give 220 a build that contained certain things, and there are whole sections that they left out for him not to play? That's the questions that I want to know. Like, how much is this going to change, and how much more do we get? Gas stations. What in the what? So there's talk about gas stations, and it's in the copy. There's definitely, it's mentioned, but to what role? Do all cars have to go get gas in order for them to move? Do trucks, and because truck stations, like there are actual trucks stops that are huge. They're not going to pull into a place like that LOPO, and get gas. So to what level are you gonna take gas? You've mentioned it, so like we have to manage our expectations, but them as a company, they have to tee up those expectations, you know what I mean? So we don't go rampant with our ideas. Look at every single house has the same little hutch in the back of it. And well, every house looks the same. Every single house looks the same. Which is very true for a lot of parts of the country. But what happens if you're taking those, my point is, what happens if you're taking those models and you're building them in the out country? It's not going to happen. Every house is different when you start going out into the country. Yeah, you have your new, what is this, cleanup crew, I guess you could say. Look at that, that's a unique building. I was gonna say, look at that parking lot. That's amazing. If we could build that, that would be so nice. That would be so nice if we could make parking lots the way we want to make them. Take the farming tool and make it so we can do the same thing with parking lots. There you see a house on an elevation, kind of. It seems like they're going out of their way to hide that type of thing. That house, dead center, right at the end of that bridge, is buried into the ground. See, those are the types of things that kind of concern me. I know that they're hopefully working on those types of things, but how the ground morphs around a building should be part of the mechanic that they build into the game. This is a beautiful picture, by the way. Yeah, I love how that looks. The yards, again, look a little too clean for me, but it still looks really good. And I do see some kind of orange in the middle of the screen. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a track. It's not that big stadium that we saw earlier, so I'm not sure exactly what that is, but hopefully it's a high school track or some kind of football field for high schoolers. Those are the types of people that we need to represent in the game, because it's not all about just houses and city buildings. These people right here in front of you don't all work. Just think about like your neighbors and your neighborhoods and the surrounding areas and where those people work. If you live in the city, then this is perfect for you. But yeah, I still would want to construct my cities in a different fashion. The randomness and the sameness of all of the buildings don't really fit. Like for this picture, like we see this green building with curves and everything like that, and then you have all these other buildings around it that have sharp edges and they're very squared off. Well, what's to say that we can't get a couple more buildings that look like this one that have the round edges and make a block out of it? Dedicate an actual area rather than it being one-off. Make a couple of them like that so we have the options. This is cool. I like this. This is that row house maybe possibly saw at the bottom of the screen or at the beginning before. Again, you can almost see that cars, they've got this like like I could actually go and pick one up because it looks like a Matchbox car. It looks so like pristine and perfect, and the streets are a little pristine and perfect. You know what I mean? I mean, look at that commercial building down there. Like that could be I don't know. Any one of those places could be like a record store, you know what I mean? That could be a place where you go get music, and there's a clothing store right there. And that would be very, very cool if you could actually put some, I don't know, some personality. And then, like I said, hire people to work at those stores. It's not something you have to do, but it's something that you can participate in. Look at that embankment on the back below those shrubs. Like, that should be... I should be able to put some kind of mulch and shrubbery there. Shrubbery. That would be ideal. That would be just something that would be very enjoyable. And that's it. Well, there's my thoughts. Let them be known. Here's my 2 cents. 1, 2. Take it or leave it. It's not worth much. I never said it was worth very much. And that's where we're gonna leave it. I got a couple more pennies here that I can throw into the pot as the next couple weeks go by, and I will tell you what I think, because I've got a microphone and I'm going to use it. It's what I do for a living anyway, so why not? So anyway, as I said, with Mistwood, what is the future of Mistwood in the next couple of weeks? What am I going to be focusing on? Man, this was such a project getting this thing done. I still don't understand why a lot of these trucks are definitely going there, but they have a tendency to stop there, even though there's no, like, why did that? Oh, because he's turning, and that guy's going to turn. A lot of these guys are turning into this. That guy didn't turn and he stopped. Why are people stopping there? I'm so glad that they're fixing this in Skylines 2, City Skylines 2. Oh, I also fixed this used to be a big loop-de-loop round type of thing, and then I just brought it down here and down there. Much better. Looks a lot better. But yeah, I'm so glad that I took care of this. So glad that everything is working. Now, let's do this. Let's go for a ride. Boom. Oops. All right. Oh. Oh, through the car. Okay, let's hold on. Whoa, stop. Okay, let's go normal speed, and we'll stay in line. I'll stay behind this green line, this green car. Whoa. Okay. Oh, careful. All right, there's a gas station. I should probably go get gas. Can I make it? Oh, I almost made it. So like this is oh. Okay, I gotta get gas. Hold on, gotta get gas. Okay. Ding ding. Thanks, I appreciate it. Wait, where's the place? There's no actual place to. There's no place to go in and pay. It's just a pump. Okay, well. So what we're going to do is we are going to drive this road, and I am going to go over to my new place of where we're going to be working. Actually, forget this. I'm just going to drive. Give me a new car. Can I get a faster one? And I'm just going to drive through everything. Whoa! Come on, baby. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay. Not too bad. I wish I would have zoomed out for that so I could see me drifting. But, oh man, this car moves, man. This car moves. Oh no. No. Well, there's that. Okay. That's not so good. So let's go back to here. I need to go through here. Let's go through the toll. Yep. Appreciate. Oh. I'm gonna go through the industrial park. This car moves fast, man. Wow. And then I'm just gonna cruise down over. Okay, this is ridiculous. Cool, the cars actually handle a little bit differently. Don't worry about me, officer. I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the new area. Like I said, this is where I'm going to be working. Oops, sorry, tree. Where am I going to be? What am I going to be doing here? Okay, so the big thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to end it right here for today, is I'm gonna redo this road. I am going to pull them both out by just a little bit, and I'm going to create enough space in this area right here. Let me zoom out. This area right here, I'm gonna make into water. I'm gonna put a pond in here. But the problem is with any kind of pond is you need the water to be able to drain. So if I widen out these two, which is going to be tricky because I'm right up against the post here. I have to redo all of these transitions. This thing is a pain in the butt because they come way out. I'm really close to that. I've got a very finite amount of space that I can move out, but I want to move out just enough that I can have water drain down this middle section into the river. By doing that, and there's a little spot right underneath this bridge that I can bring, but by doing that I can create a pond, river, or a place. Like I can make this really nice. I could even make an island in the middle if I wanted to, but I can make this into something like a little bit more of a destination, a little bit cooler, and really start to spruce up Agarva. I believe I've named the city Agarva. I don't know why. I'm not asking questions. Neither should you. But yes, this is my next project, is to kind of take Agarva, and make it a little bit more of a destination spot, spruce it up. I've taken this section and started to detail it. I want to carry that over into here, make this nice. Same thing over into here as well. I want to start detailing this game. We're coming to a close. We're starting to wind down and start getting ready for City Skylines 2, which means it's time for me to start putting in depth, putting in all the things that I can to make this place a little bit more unique, a little bit cooler, a little bit more realistic, putting trees and shrubs and just trying to make this place a little bit more realistic in the way that we can in City Skylines 1. Hopefully we get grass in number 2. So regardless, I'm not going to take your time any longer. I do appreciate the fact that you've sat with me this long and listened to my 2 cents. And hey, for those of you who have subscribed, and I have definitely noticed an uptick in the subscribe numbers, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate you coming along for the ride, the journey. I love the comments. I respond to every single one of you. If you have something that you want to say, if you just want to say hi, leave me a note down in the comments, and I'll shout you out. But until the next one, I hope you guys are enjoying. Enjoy the day, enjoy the evening, do good, be good to each other. It always, we're going to have our bad days, we're going to have our good days, but try to always remember to at least do something good. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the music. Okay. Glad you stuck around, but so I added a new track. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking the City Skylines music, their music bed that they talk over, the developers, and there's always some kind of music in the background. What I do is I take it and I slow it down to its at least half speed, if not more. And then I will take that and then I will recreate it. And that's what I've done. I have completely recreated their music bed music and made it my own. Just because it's fun and because I'm a musician and it's what I do. So that's the story of the newest song. Hopefully you heard it in there. And I've got a whole lot more music coming on the way. So once again, I do appreciate everything, your time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.